Okay, got it. So user-centric model means it's not just, of course, we can have a lot of platforms on the operator side, where network infrastructure vendors can build, a lot of service delivery platforms. But of course, they are good in delivering the service, consuming the bandwidth that is all available on the packet network. But what is also key is, are we really looking into the needs of the user? So what is critical is user-centric model. So keeping that in mind, also take a look at what is happening on the internet side. Internet, of course, we all know that is no-brainer. Internet is transforming mobility, and mobility is transforming the internet. And this is where the convergence is coming into picture. And today, if internet is, of course, we have seen, that's a great example what can always take when it comes to mobile services. But of course, a lot of internet vendors or the service providers are leveraging on the mobility aspects and providing their services. So that is strengthening the mobility part as well. And mobility is leveraging on the internet. And today we talk about how one can access to the mobile internet, internet pages, in a speedy manner, which is much more useful. The user experience is there. And we are moving from simple, normal HTML browsing to something we call as widgets. And why do we need to create a widget? For example, when you come like a market like India, people like to get into the internet. So the only way for them is to use the mobile. Of course, we do not have the PC penetration. So I'm not going into the details there, but people will like to use the mobile to get access to some of their favorite websites and all. But a lot of websites, in order to access, they require at least a GPRS, but the experience is not that great. So widgets, of course, which will supplement and provide that enhanced user experience. So this is one aspect we need to keep in mind. Having said that, yes, we need to have the multitude of services, but who is going to provide that? Is it the operator? Is it going to be the network infrastructure vendor, or is it the mobile vendor? I don't think we have the capacity to do that. So then what we need to look at, just relook at the ecosystem what we have here. So the key is the developers. I think this was touched upon by Mr. Mehta in the morning that, the 3G will pave a great opportunity for these entrepreneurs. Yes, that is correct actually. When you have these technologies in place, obviously, this will be leading to a totally new, building an entirely new opportunity or a sort of a new stakeholder in the ecosystem. And if you look at the stakeholders here, of course, you have the network operators, standardization bodies, busy in standardizing whatever is 3GPP, FC, or today we have lots of standardization bodies working because they have a competition themselves, which standard has to prevail over the other. And then network infrastructure vendors, of course, they have to implement whatever the standardization bodies come out with. And operator, of course, we have to deploy networks which are very close to the standard. And device manufacturers will obviously build devices, whether it's 3G. Yes, there was also a talk. There are already a lot of handsets with a 3G capability, but they are not. People are not using that for 3G services, but the handsets are ready for 3G capability. But what is obviously missing here is the developers and entrepreneurs, which we have not talked about. Yes, there were platforms in the past that came into existing, for providing, how do we help the third-party developers? For example, if you go to some of these platforms like Parlays or open services architecture. Of course, open service architecture was defined by 3G, and they wanted to make it available in the operator environment so that they can provide some open APIs to the developers so that they can provide some services. Because it was not within the reach or within the sort of control of the operator to provide these services. So what is very essential to really turn this ecosystem into success is the developers will come out with these innovative services. So keeping that in mind, to satisfy the end user needs and choices, we created the OV Store. So OV Store is nothing but how do we sort of satisfy the needs of the end users here. As I said, yes, we need to look at the end user needs, the choices, and we need to give them the freedom so that they can sort of use those services. And we need a sort of a platform or some place where they can access to these services. So OV Store is a personal media network offering one-stop. Of course, a lot of solutions and applications will be offered to the consumers. So of course, when they get into this OV Store, they can find content or applications, games, whatever they want. Because we provide all these the different types of content. And of course, it provides content based on the geography or the location. It's not about somebody gets into the OV Store, he only will be getting to see all the global content, but if there is somebody who wants to see there's a local relevant content. For example, of course, when an Indian consumer wants to know wants to access to a widget, for example, or to a website or to an application. So we have that local relevancy built into the OV store. Like, it's not that they have to consume only the local content. And it's an opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs and content providers and developers to publish their content. Of course, they can be part of the business. Like, if someone, if you earlier looked at it, we had this download channel in the past, which was like, Nokia was having these catalogs in the phones. Some of you know, some of you may not. And we had Mosh, which was the mobile sharing based on the Web 2.0 concept, and we had Wixels. So of course there are many distribution channels. So what we did is like, yes, it's time now to sort of like consolidate all these different distribution channels and sort of provide one store or one channel for the users so that they can access the content, like, whether it's content providers or it's consumers or whether it's operators. Like. So we came out with OV. So it's a democratic marketplace with an open and transparent policy. I mean, any developer having a compelling content, if they think it's innovative, if they want to be part of the business, all that they can do is just register with the OV and they can publish the content and they can be part of the business. And the content, of course, the good thing about OV is it will give the opportunity to distribute your content globally, even though you are an Indian developer. And so you can choose the countries where you want to make your content available. So consumer in US can also access the content that you are publishing in India, since it's a global channel. So that means like, if there's a, let's say a startup company has developed a very innovative application, of course a lot of effort to market and do the business development. But through OV, all those problems will be solved, like, because at the time of publishing, you can choose those countries, like, which countries you want to publish, like. So one way, yes, you are getting the revenues and making your application visible to a wider range of devices and consumers and the different countries. Like. And we offer both premium and freemium. I call it as freemium because even though you provide free, but it has to be interesting and compelling. I don't think we can just put some free because it's the sake of it, like, because consumers will, of course, have to like it. Like. And we have content available based on devices and per market. As I said, like, if I want to choose any content specific to that country, I can also choose. There are, of course, a lot of opportunities for content publishers and developers. So when it comes to the revenue part, it's a 70-30 share. If you are a publisher, if you are publishing a content to the OV, you get 70%, and of course we take 30%. 70% inclusive of all taxes. If there are operators, of course that will be taken out as well. So that means, like, it's a very democratic thing. You have a content, a piece of content, you can go there, publish it, and then you can choose of course we have credit card as well as operator billing. In some countries we have the operator billing, in some countries we have, most of the countries of course the default is credit card billing. So you can be like, choose this credit card billing. India, of course, we are working with the operators to get the operator billing done in a few months' time. Like. So very easy for publishing in OV. All that you need to do is like, I'll give you the site names as well, the publish.ov.com. You can go and register if you are an entrepreneur. If you already have a content that you want to take it to the market, very easy, just it takes a couple of days to sort of like verify your company credentials, and after that, you can sort of publish your content. There is a process also which is available. So what you need to do is content partner registration validation. That is basically you have to register yourself as a company. Even individuals can also register because we are providing them sort of an opportunity as well. And you can add your content items, that is publishing and metadata, description about the content, file sizes,